Hey fellow sim racers, today I'm driving an Aston Martin Vantage GTE around the Donington Park National Circuit, and the opposition today is a field of GTE cars driven by the Assetto Corsa AI. Stick around to find out what I think about this very English mod car and equally emphatically English mod track. Sitting on the grid in this beautiful Aston Martin, got a fellow Aston in front of us. Oh, listen to that beautiful V8. Bogged down a little bit on getaway, but I don't think that's going to hurt us too much. So you move to the right and fall in behind this Corvette. Well, I guess you could call it an art car. I think I'd just call it a mess. Sadly, it's the kind of camouflage that really does stick out. Nice and gentle through the craner curves for a first time, and do get a little bit of understeer as we start to brake for the old hairpin. Corvette very slow on the apex there, and that, despite having to brake in the middle of the corner, we've managed to get a bit of a run on him. Hopefully that's the last we have to see of him. Good run through McLean's the first time means that we're gaining on this BMW, but I suspect we are going to struggle to make anything stick through Coppice. AI does like to cut your nose off a bit there if you're not careful. BMW gets a bit squirrely on exit, and that's given us the chance to have a run down into the final chicane. Not a lot of room here, so we're going to have to give him room on the second part, but luckily the job's done nice and early. Falling in behind the beautiful sounding 911 RSR, and that is one lap done. Corners come thick and fast here, and it's probably just over a minute long lap. And 911 RSR does sound good. We get a pretty poor exit off of Redgate, but that has still allowed us a bit of a run on the 911, but I don't think we're going to be able to make anything stick. And, well, we're not brave enough to put it completely up the inside through the old hairpin. Still, we get a better exit, and job done. I actually recorded this race about a week ago, so I've forgotten pretty much everything that's happened. And what's going on now is as much of a surprise to me as it is to you. While we have a bit of a break from the action, I'd like to sit and talk about the car we're driving today. This is a mod by United Racing Design. It's part of a pack of other GTE cars that includes a Porsche, a Ferrari, Mercedes, and a Viper, I think. A lot of those cars are now replicated by Kunos' content. I think this, from what I understand, this mod came out pretty early on in Assetto Corsa's development. So now some of the other cars perhaps not as necessary. But I think the mod is entirely worth it for the Aston Martin alone. It costs very little more than a cup of coffee for all 5 cars. The Aston Martin's really great, and as you can see here, it balanced really well against the Kunos cars. Good run off the old hairpin again, puts us alongside the Corvette, who gets on 2 wheels for some reason, running over the curve a bit aggressively there. But there we go, job done. Oh, clumsily put a wheel onto the gravel on the inside of McLean's, makes everything a bit of a mess, but hasn't hurt us too much. So I guess I should probably talk about how the car actually handles. It's one thing to be able to compete with the AI, but if it's a really boring car to drive, or it feels completely wrong, that'll be rubbish. And it's not. It's great. It's really good fun. I think it's perhaps a little bit more of a challenge to drive in some aspects than some of the other GT cars, particularly the Ferrari that everyone seems to love for some reason. And it doesn't have any ABS, so for some people that might be a problem, for others it won't be. I certainly don't have an issue with that. And it certainly, I don't think it makes it uncompetitive compared to the other GTE cars at all. Once again we get a great run through the old hairpin. Allows us around the outside of the Corvette. That's not a Corvette, it's a Ferrari. Just because it's yellow doesn't mean it's a Corvette. Sitting and admiring the beautiful sound of the 911 RSR as well. I really should get the additional sound mod that's been floating around for a little while for it. But I think, you know, even as far as Oh, lock up massively just to prove that there's no ABS. Sorry, as far as Kunos' onboard sounds go, I think the RSR sounds pretty good actually. If I had to criticise the GTE Aston Martin mod, it's that it only comes with 2 skins, both of which are in light blue, which very much isn't my bag. But that's not so much of an issue because there are plenty of mod skins available, particularly on Race Department. The skin you would have seen this car in at the beginning of the video, the Martini skins by a guy called Climax F1, and I have put the link for the skin in the description. No way past the 911 RSR there. And certainly no way to throw one up the inside through McLean's. It's McLean's. It's not Die Hard, it's a corner. As our fellow Aston Martin decides to try and go skyward there. We're going to get boxed in now between this 911 and the Aston. It's going to leave us nowhere to go. Oh, and the late correction there by the 911 RSR just means that we bop him in the back. Hindsight being wonderful. Looking at going a little bit defensive just in case the Ferrari comes back at us, but we're okay. Snatch the brakes. Ooh. Made a bit of a mess of the last 2 corners, but somehow still in contention with the RSR. Got a bit of space in front of us, and once again managed to make the take advantage of our line through the old hairpin, but not quite as well as we have the last few laps, and we're side by side into McLean's now. Oh, back end tries to step away from us, perhaps overdriving a little bit. RSR is still with us through Coppice. It's okay, we can run him to the outside and see which one of us is braver. Looks like the AI has more to live for than I do. You can take a little bit of the sausage curbs there, but not too much. Mirror's nice and clear, and a little bit of a break from the action. With 2 laps to go, give me a chance to talk about the track itself. If you've not got this, then head over to Race Department, link in the description as usual. And download this mod track by a guy called Brun, or maybe Brun, not sure. It's a great representation of Donington. This is the national variation of the circuit, which, as I said earlier, is about a minute long in these type of cars. So corners come thick and fast, as you can see. It's got a really great flow. Oh, as we just throw it up the inside in a really reckless way. That's what happens when you get a couple of laps towards the end of the race and you start getting greedy. That little moment of ambition over talent there may have cost us any chance of getting the Aston and the Ferrari in front of him as the leader makes his way onto the final lap. Although we do get a good run through the final chicane. It's brought us back into contention, and still probably going to struggle to get the Ferrari. Again, nice and close through Redgate. And a slightly better run than the Aston, but we're going to struggle to go side by side through the Craner curves. And just back it off slightly so we can get a good run. The AI has been pretty slow through the old hairpin so far this race. Luckily in the end that's a piece of cake. But the mistake last lap has definitely cost us a chance of getting past the Ferrari. Another unsponsored example. Must be another pay driver. I really should sort out the skins before I do these races. Breaks the immersion a little bit. Ooh, lock the brakes as we head into the chicane for the final time. But managed to get it slowed down and get a decent run, but it's not going to be enough. So there you go, 10th place, not so bad overall. Started 24th, 14 places in 9 laps. Okay, a few you get at the start, but I'm still pretty happy with that. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed our little jaunt through the Midlands countryside at Donington. I certainly have. If you have enjoyed the video, please consider hitting like and subscribing. And until next time, thanks for watching and goodbye.